I don't want to say partly cloudy because of the day in 9/11 and my late wife Jean's birthday, 9/11. And not only is 9/11, but when that happened, I had been up late Sunday night and she woke me up and I saw the first tower hit, and then the second tower hit because I'm off on Mondays, and it was a Monday.
Yeah.
Was her birthday when that happened.
Uh-huh.
And the date just happened to be a Monday. And when it and so, I'm feeling a certain kind of way. Maybe a couple of days I had a moment, but I didn't know why the last few days. But now I know why, because my spirit man already knew this was the day, and I wasn't conscious of it, but this was the day. And I just wanted to say something encouraging to you with the times that we're living in now, hard times, difficult times, all kind of rumors, all kind of lies, all kind of the weather changing. Everything is so pressing, depressing, just intense. And sometimes you might be feeling a little dismay. But I want to read this to you, what Jesus said in John, the 16th chapter and the 33rd verse. It's the last verse. It says, "These things I have spoken to you, that in me you may have peace. That in me you might have peace. In the world you will have tribulations, but be of good cheer. I have overcome the world." Be of good cheer, for I have overcome the world. And if we being in Christ, if he overcame, we overcome. So remember that word for the day. And I want to read in the Amplified. It says this: "I have told you these things so that in me you may have perfect peace. In the world you will have tribulation and distress and suffering. But be courageous, be confident, be undaunted, be filled with joy. I have overcome the world." We thank God for raising Jesus up. And when he raised Jesus up, he raised us up. So live above your circumstances, situation, or what's going on in the world. Remember in Ephesians 2, he says, "I caused you to sit together with me in the heavenly places." So you're above all those things that's going on in the world. And even Genesis 1, 26 through 28, he says about 8 times, you are above. So be of good cheer. Jesus overcame. We're in Christ, so we have overcome also. So this is the victory we have in him. So that's my word for the day. Hallelujah.
Well, hallelujah.
Yes, ma'am.
What a great day it is.
It is.
It
is.
I always forget until that it's 9/11, until the day of. I don't know why. And it's such a historical day. I remember exactly where I was.
Mhm.
You guys remember where you were? Y'all write in the chat. Tell us where you were on 9/11. I remember I was going into work at the time I worked for Delta Technology, and I was walking into our we call it our operations center, and everyone was standing around. We had like our CEO, and that was big because our CEO, our CTO was in the room, and everybody was everybody was staring at the screen almost like they were in dismay. And so, and I typically don't watch the news, as you already know. I don't watch the news in the morning. And so I immediately, when I walked in, I just stopped and I was looking at the airplanes going to this tower. And I thought this was like some kind of strange movie or what. And people were beginning, they were like, "Darlene, did you not watch the news? The Twin Towers have been hit by an airplane." And I work for, interestingly enough, Delta. And so the planes were not a Delta flight, but it was United in some other flight. But it was all at that point.
That flying as a community.
Yeah, it is. They immediately began to shut down the airport, and call all the planes on the ground. And I also remember later on that day how the air was just dark.
Right.
Because we're used to seeing lights in the sky and all that, but everything was dark. But that was 9/11. But then, later years down the line, 10 years down the line or so, here you and I ended up meeting each other.
Right.
And how many years has it been since 9/11?
Since 9/11, 22 years.
22 years.
Yeah, I'm saying
22 years.
That's right.
My goodness.
It doesn't seem like it though, but
22 Did y'all know it's been 22 years? D. Wise says she was working from home in Delaware. Von Holmes says she was at a doctor's appointment, and Roy McFadden said he was at home. And I mean, let's see who else said something. World changers working in the finance. I mean, it was so unreal. Yeah. So, but now, fast forwarding 22 years, or to today, we get to celebrate in a different way.
Right.
For those that didn't get a chance to see Facebook, and I know you all did because we had a lot of posts. Fuller's late great queen, the queen Jean, passed away, but we celebrate her birthday still. Yes. Today's her birthday.
Yes, it's a celebration.
Yeah, and so Fuller didn't. He didn't initially say anything to me about it because I told you I'd forgotten about 9/11, and so today would be Jean's birthday, and we always talk about Jean's birthday. I don't feel any kind of way, that we always say that this is the time that we do ministry so that people know that I love Fuller and Jean. I mean, when I would see them, I would be in awe. And so I'm going to pause here. Vera says that she was teaching 4th grade at Crescent Elementary School.
Okay.
My goodness, 22 years. And then, oh my gosh, Yvonne Holmes said that's when she joined World Changers. I did not know that. I thought you guys had been members like forever and ever. Yvonne Holmes says 22 years. And then let's see what Fat says. She said she was about to go to Griffin to help her parents over there. Okay. And that help my parents. Yeah. And so tell us about what you feel on your special day with. What would you and Jean normally do?
Oh, we're definitely going out on a date and going to maybe her favorite restaurant,
which is
Chops.
Okay.
So and we'll probably have the largest steak on there and share it.
Okay.
And she first got me to try that the Spanish.
The Spanish cold spinach salad.
No, when they come to the table and heat
not
it up.
The cold, but when they
make
it at the table.
They make it at the table and it's fire on it. They do the fire thing with it, and it was real good. We normally do that.
What kind of gifts?
All kinds. I can't think of all.
You probably fully did it.
Jewelry, money. Sometimes run out of ideas of money. Things to do. Clothes. Yes. Jean loves clothes. Loves shopping. So I take her on a shopping spree.
Yes.
So all that. It's funny you say that. It made me think about some good memories. When Jean passed, I looked at all them clothes. She had jewelry for days. I gave every one of my sisters, my nieces, her friends, some of her jewelry, some of her spiritual daughters, all her jewelry, and it's still a jewelry case was left at the house, still at the house at my other house.
You got a case, don't you?
A case of a trunk of jewelry, and you got some of it, and it just amazed by all the stuff that she had, and she had stuff with tags on it. It was just funny.
What did you give me at Jean's?
So what?
You said you gave me some of it. What you give me?
A couple of rings, maybe a couple necklace, and some other things.
So Fuller will give me different things, and I'm honored actually to receive it. I remember there's a couple of rings, and I wear them. He gave me the black stone one.
Yeah.
And
blue, green.
Yeah. So there's two very specific ones, but I wear them with honor.
What you got on now?
This is the one you gave me from Bright.
And there's one similar to that I gave you.
Yeah, this
earlier.
is a recent. This is the Bright one. That's what you gave me.
But I gave you one recently, kind of like that.
And I'm okay with that. Somebody that's listening would probably say you'd be okay with your husband giving you his late wife's jewelry. I would be because I'm comfortable in myself.
And you got a couple pieces of clothing too, but that's what I love about Darlene. I don't think anyone who was not widowed could be. It's difficult for them to be married to somebody who's a widower because if we just talking today. She hadn't come home long, hadn't been home long. And I just hollered off the back of it too. I said, you know what? I said, we ought to have a broadcast today and just talk about Jane and celebrate her. And don't forget, I said, I want to contact my sisters so they'll log on. Hello, sisters, you're not logged on. Darlene sent y'all a link today. and to log on to be a part of this broadcast today as we celebrate her life.
Yeah.
You know, and so
I know a couple said that they didn't want to be on the screen. You know, when it's
Right.
last minute, you got to get all this together, right? And so, you know,
not on our broadcast.
No,
This ain't
no,
a formal
you know,
broadcast.
we just get on.
And
so,
you know, and I want to say to the other widows that's out there, the people that's going through different things, you know, I was feeling a certain kind of way, and I guess I was grieving because Saturday, you know, some parts of Saturday probably I didn't have no energy, and I felt good, but I didn't know what was wrong. Yesterday, for a moment there, just feeling kind of, and I wasn't conscious, and I was not conscious of the day was her birthday. I hadn't played. Look, we've been so busy all last week. I ain't looked at the date. You know, I ain't looked at the calendar at all. But my spirit man knew. Yeah. And I was grieving, and you know, the Bible, people think the Bible said don't grieve because that's not faith and not belief. It said don't grieve like the heathen do, because we got hope. We're people of hope. We people that overcome. We people, and that doesn't stop you from being in Christ and having faith and trusting God. Yes, I have faith. I'm trusting God. I'm in love with Darlene. I just don't love her. I'm in love with her. But on these kind of days, I miss Jean. You know, I miss you being married to someone forever since you was a child. And because I told you she married a boy, and she produced a grown man.
And I always say thank you,
grown
Jane.
boy. So that's my comments. And some of you friends on here, sons and daughters, want to make some comments so we can post and read about that. So I'll do that. And we got the guest though too.
Yeah, and so Full asked you guys to say something. You know, just maybe a memorable moment that you had with Jean, or you can also post the pictures. And you guys, I did a little play on words. It's Jean's day, so I got on my jeans, but it's Jean's day, her day, her birthday. Exactly. And I was thinking that Jean's spelling of her name initially when Full and I met was Jgene or something like that. Full was like, no, it's like you wear a pair of jeans. And so it's a great kind of spinoff on what we're talking about. It's Jean.
I don't know if I ever told you this, but everybody from Griffin know her as Gloria Jean. You know, we as people of color, we don't pronounce the words because I'm guilty too. It's Gloria Jean. And it's Gloria Jean. Oh. Gloria Jean. No. Search her brother. They say Gloria Jean. Really? Yeah. And so
that's funny. Yeah.
And it was amazing. We went to visit my niece who was in the hospital last week. And we went to pray with her and everything. And she told her, she said, we call her name Cliff Torrey, we call her Pooh. I said, Pooh, she's a Pooh, do you know who I am? And she said, yes, but you remind me of Aunt Jean.
And I said, you know what, Pooh and I've said that before. I think it's more the complexion, because Jean had a nice little orange, cinnamon kind of brown complexion too. And so, and when I looked at her, I said, and you look like your aunt too. And looks so much like her. And so, but yes, you guys, let's see. Fee is on, and Fee says, I wear a piece of Mama Jean, I'm sure she say, right. What did Fee call her?
That's who you show some link to.
Yeah. Oh man, let me send a link to Fee. Send a link to Fee. Fee, you can just hold on just 1 second. I'm gonna send this link so you can jump on. Just click on the link. But we do have a fun guest and friend of Mama Jean, Miss Jean, that I wanted to bring on, and I sent her the invite to join us today. And so I'm going to pop her into our conversation. And there we go.
This friend here, Miss Norma, James was talking about her all the time. So that Norma can drive. She know every back street in Atlanta. She come and pick me up and drive me anywhere. And she Norma always would drive and take us shopping because
Oh,
when I
really?
couldn't go or something, I was busy. They just want to have a girl day, so they was all hanging out together all over Atlanta. You know,
Oh,
yeah. So
I knew the
they
list.
hung out a bit, quite a bit.
I had the list of folks I'd be sent to leave to. So, Miss Norma, what you want to say to this evening?
Can you hear me?
Oh, we hear you
Yes,
really good.
clear.
Yes.
You look good too.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Oh, first of all, I want to thank you guys for inviting me to be a part of this. This day is so special to me. Many of you know that Gina and I were really, really great friends. That, as Bishop said, we did a lot of things together. She would call me on the drop of a dime and say, "Hey, Norma, will you take me down to Stein?" That was one of her favorite to shop in the neighborhood. Now she
Right.
liked other high-end places, but that was somewhere we could go in the hood, or come take me down to Chico's.
Right.
And we would just,
Oh,
because
yeah.
neither of us were working at the time, it was a very easy thing for me to do. So
Uh-huh.
just a very special person. You know, we could be serious. I could talk to her about the most intimate and personal things. Yet we had some of the best laughter and good girlfriend times that I've really ever had. So she was a big sister to me. Love her, miss her. So honored to be here today. And this is something, Bishop, I don't know if you know, my oldest sister's name is Gloria Jean.
No, I did. I did.
Yeah.
Wow.
And yes, so, immediately when I met Jean, it was like, here's my big sister, because this sister's in Ohio. So I had the big sister that lived in Ohio, and just love, love, love the both of you. Love you, Darlene. And it's just so awesome how you all are embracing Jean and able to do this, because it's very different. A lot of people wouldn't be comfortable doing that. So kudos to you, Darlene, for the woman that you are, to be able to honor Jean, and we can be comfortable talking about her and not have to feel some kind of way because you're here. And I just love both of you. And again, I thank you for inviting me to be a part. I'm honored.
So, Miss Norma, how did you say you and Miss Jean met?
We met at church, obviously, but I met Bishop first over at World Changers at the school.
Right. That's
wow.
Before the chapel.
Y'all been there that long, Miss Norma?
Right. Right.
Yeah. Over there preaching and jumping up and down, stirring up the dust, talking about Mr. V's and Cisco's and all those places that we used to hang out before we met Jesus. And then as a result of meeting him, obviously being connected to him and meeting Jean, and then, been to the Griffin Church and just all of that. So and we just became very good friends as a result.
And we was having church back in them days too.
Oh yeah.
All night church. All day church.
Once we came and Pastor brought the choir, we couldn't fit half the choir was out the front door.
That's right.
Couldn't fit them all in the church.
My
goodness. But those were just really, really great times, and those early and foundational years of World Changers becoming what it is today.
Yeah, Fuller and I, because we do this show, this is what's really good about this conversation is people get a chance, like you just said, Miss Norma, to witness. You know me, and you knew Jean, right? And it doesn't take the love that you have away from me that you love Jean, right? But Fuller and I have talked about in the past how there were people that really love Jean, and when Darlene came along, it was like, who is this person? I know Darlene, but what is going on right now? And so, but this is ministry for those people that have lost a spouse, and the person wants to move on.
Right.
But they struggle with, how do I move on when there's so many people that still love her like they love her, but I got to move on.
Right.
Fuller has to move on. I had to move on. What would you say to people that, they're friends with someone that lost a spouse? How did you deal with, that coming to Jesus moment? It was hard, I'm sure.
It was a little difficult for me in the beginning because I did know Jean so well, and then I knew you. As a matter of fact, the four of us, and I'll start Bishop. I'm so used to calling Bishop. I'm going to call him Fuller.
Oh, thank you.
Along with Minister Rick, the four of us would hang out, and we would talk about Darlene being our favorite worship leader.
Right, that's right.
Really?
Yeah, we talk about talk about the old school and how you could break it down and, enter in.
Right.
Did that. So when you became the other Mrs. Fuller, it was a little, I was like, oh. And then I guess the other thing that made it really different was when it happened during COVID, when we weren't able to have the
Yeah.
service
Right.
and bring closure to her life. Usually when you have that service, you get to share and laugh and bring closure. Because we weren't able to do that, it just felt to me that we transitioned so fast into the two of you. But
Yeah.
loving you, knowing Jean, loving Fuller,
Uh-huh.
it was inevitable. It was just a matter of time before I could get there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Do you have any laughing moment with her that you can share or that you can think about right offhand? But I will say it did happen during COVID, and then after COVID, and even recently, I've asked my boys that they want to have a goodbye service to say so everybody can get goodbye. They say, "Oh no, I'm good."
Yeah.
They don't want to reopen the wound.
The wound,
And
yeah.
I asked them that not less than 6 months ago. I asked them again, and they said, "No. They don't want to open that wound."
Time truly does make a difference.
Mhm.
Because I was really looking forward to that time when we'd get together and have that. We didn't know COVID was going to continue on for years.
Yeah, right.
We wouldn't have a chance to have that service. But the memorial that you did and just the times that we're able to get together and share, even now, but you guys are so unique. And what you're doing is so different because you just don't find many people able to be this open about where where they are, able to talk about their former spouses, the healing that has come forth for a lot of people. It's just very different, but much needed in the body of Christ. And I've had to embrace it. I've had to learn. I'm not on every Monday because that's usually dinner time for me and Minister Rick. But go back and listen. And some of the things that you all have shared, your transparency and openness, has just really been powerful. So what a unique and different ministry that is needed.
It is. And
It's ministry.
it
Because
is
to us, it's ministry.
and for me, when Fuller tells me that, he reminded me today was Jean's birthday, it's almost like, well, I didn't know Jean directly. Indirectly, I knew her. Miss Norma's feed is kind of going in and out, but that's okay. And so I get a little bit emotional, just like you. It's like, that a person was a part of my life because she was a part of you. And so, but I know not many people could say that and appreciate it that way. You just have to be a different type of breed to experience and not it appear like, oh, Darlene just doing that to show that she's the person that is, handling this loss of Fuller's wife or former wife, but she's trying to be the savior. Y'all would have to know who Darlene really is to know my heart is just pure for people. And so we got another guest coming on in the house. I'm gonna pop Miss Norma in the other side of the stage. I see you back. We got you back, Miss Norma.
Yeah, I got kicked out. I got a phone call and I tried to not accept it, and it kicked
well, hold on tight. You stay right there, and I'm gonna pop in one of our other favorite people in the house. Her name would be Ophelia.
Yeah. My daughter.
My daughter.
Yes.
Hello.
This is Fuller's oldest son. Is that right? Oldest son, Chico's wife. And I always refer to Ophelia. So I'm doing that. I'm talking about Fee. So we refer to as Fee. Yeah. So welcome to GodFidence, Fee. This is your first time being on with us.
It is.
Yeah. And you've heard Miss Norma, who's really good friends with Miss Jean and what you call her, Fee, Mama Jean?
Mama.
Excuse me, Mama. So Miss Norma's gonna hang tight, but tell us anything you want to share about Mama, and this is our time.
Well, I mean, it's so much, that I could share, but as I put in the chat that I do wear a piece of her jewelry every day, and it's just comforting to me. I have this cross on today. It was a charm from one of her necklaces, and I put it on one of mine. But it's just kind of comforting to have a piece of her with me, at all times, because, of course, I miss her. She became a second mom to me, being that I lost my mom at such an early age. So she was a second mom to me. And I just miss the beautiful person she was. And I always joke with my friends about her when we go shopping, because one thing about her, and that you say she likes to shop all the time, but she kind of taught me how to shop in a different way. May not be such a good thing at times, but she just taught me how to shop in a different way, how to be more classy. Not that, I didn't know how to be, but she just exuded that. And I just so admired, that about her, that no matter who she was with, or who she was talking to, that she always exuded this kind of class and this kindness. So I just really admired that about her.
She was anointed for that. She was anointed to do that.
Now everybody I'd have met that has been friends with Jean, from Miss Norma to Ann Terry to Valerie Jackson, all of them can shop they behind them. Now, I don't know about Miss Norma, but I imagine.
Oh yeah.
And so, but everybody talks, and I ran into I think it was Jean and either Miss Norma and Ann Terry or something in Chico's one time. And I was like, it's so reminiscent of the shopping that I hear about. And so Sharon Johnson says, Gina and I would go shopping, and remember her telling me, don't go to the sale rack first. Always let that be the last place you go to. You have to act like you belong in the store.
All those places, right?
Don't go to the sale rack yet. Go to the regular side.
She was a queen.
Yes. Queen Jean. And so that's funny. And so let's see. Then we had some other people that are posted different things. You guys keep posting. So Dexter Harrell, we can't get Linda on. Linda's got herself muted, so I can't pull her in. But Linda Fuller's sister is also on in the background. I know Vera is on in the background. They're probably posting, but Dexter says that would be great for children, younger or older, or older, to move on when one of the parents passes and the other marriages begin. Because I know this is a difficult subject.
Wow.
I know we're not the only ones that face the challenge of moving on or trying to decide to move on. But people, I think this is helping other people. Let's see. Anything else, Miss? What were you gonna say about?
I thought Ronelda asked a question about when was it time to move on, or when you knew it was time. It's different from everybody. There's not a time frame that you can put on it. Because Darlene wasn't looking and I wasn't looking, and Darlene wasn't even thinking about me at the time. She just called, visited us with all my siblings, my kids there, her and her daughter visit. And she said, these are things you're going to go through. These are things you're going to have to look out for. Beware of this and beware of that. And about my feelings along the way, about how sometimes you'll be up and sometimes down. Like Ken Terry texted me today to see how I was doing. I told him it's like a roller coaster. Yeah. So there was, and she was more or less saying those things. And so, but you cannot let your friends, family, siblings, or anyone else tell you what time it is. You have to know the time for yourself. You have to know that, are you ready to move on? Because I wasn't looking for another Jane. Because I wasn't looking. I never found another Jane. I never found another Q. And you can't compare or relate. We don't do that. We celebrate David just like we celebrate Jane. We celebrate the anniversary and everything. But you have to know in your heart when to move on. Because everybody's feelings, emotions, maturity is totally different. So you have to move on.
Yeah. So Vera writes, Jean was such a part. Vera, by the way, is Fuller's sister. She says Jean was such a part of our lives. We were a part of her transformation when she became born again. She was a wonderful sister and friend. We called each other P, and she also called me Very. Like very. Okay. Very. Oh, okay.
Very.
Okay. She said,
bring them boys over here, Very.
Oh, okay.
Let me give them something to eat.
She says, Jean was my go-to for dressing up and makeup. She took pride in taking care of me, and I truly appreciate it. Jean encouraged me in so many ways, and I missed her so much. And so, You guys, look,
I don't know. Can you see this or not?
they can go that other way here.
Our spiritual son from California sent this picture of Gene. So I hope you can see that.
Yeah. So you guys keep posting today. It's Jean's birthday. We're celebrating her. We're going to keep having an opportunity to share our story, and hopefully other married couples will listen in. And go ahead, baby.
But I want to say this. I remember this moment, this funny moment. Jean had, for you to don't know, she had cancer of the brain, and it was on the stem of her brain where the mobility and everything functioning. It's short circuit, for lack of words. So I hired a childhood friend, one of them, the best friends in college, Glenda Howard, to help me with Jean, because it was just too much for me, and my sisters and all of them helped me. Thank God for them. And so one day I came home, so Jean was snickering. And I said, what you doing that for? She said, I'm not going to tell you. I said, what you snickering about? She said, I'm not going to tell you. So after a while, I talked to them and tell them, and she said, Jennifer, my other sister, and Glenda was moving her from the bed to the sofa. I had bought a sofa, put it in the bedroom. And she said, all our butts wind up on the floor. even with her being sick. And that's one thing I can say. She never lost her love for God. She never lost her love for life, love for her friends and family, and she never lost her sense of humor.
Yeah.
And I just appreciate that about her and love that about her as well.
Good. That's good. I mean,
I don't know that they won't have a moment. I know we're gonna go over it a little bit today, but I don't mind celebrating the Queen.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Fee has something else to say, or Norma, or you got some more comments.
I don't have any more comments. Y'all have anything else y'all wanted to share?
Well, I can share one more thing, and you guys were talking earlier about moving on, when to move on. And she actually had this conversation with me way before she even got sick. But she told me, and I'm not sure if I shared this with you or not, but it was like in a joking moment. And she was like, if anything ever happened to me, Kenny, he gonna have to get remarried, because he can't take care of himself. He got to have somebody. She said, you had to have somebody. I said, oh, okay. Well, now that I know that, I will know how to handle that.
Right.
So, Darlene, for me, with having that conversation with her, way back then, that's why it was such an easy process. The process of accepting you was easier for me because of the conversation that I had already had with her concerning that.
Yeah, and Fee, I remember Fee telling me that. So Fee was probably one of the people that we told early on.
No, Fee knew.
No, I knew already.
Because
hold on, Fee, how you know?
Because we was doing the business thing. You were talking about the legal shield that night. So we went out to dinner. And so Fee peeped the whole car, but we wasn't even really serious then. We just kind of filling each other out. And Fee said she told some of her girlfriends, she said, I think Dad Colton got a girlfriend. You did tell me that, Fee.
I did. I did.
Look at you. You full of surprises. But people that know you and your personality. You had a pastor friend that we met and said that I think Fuller kind of like it. Yeah, Bishop People kind of like it, Darlene. But it's all funny now. But as I've said before, that not everybody is back to Renelda's question. When is it time to move on? Who determines that? We determine that.
Right.
At the end of the day,
the individual.
With the individuals determine that. So you guys, look, we're gonna wrap up this part.
Miss Norma, she might have.
Miss Norma, you had anything else? You gotta take your stuff off mute. Miss Norma.
I think that's awesome. And that is so true. And that's something that I had to learn and accept as the two of you started to mature in your relationship, because old school and religion will tell us, oh, you got to wait so long and you got to do this and ain't no honor in that. And I went through it all,
Right.
and loving both of you, it was just very challenging for
Yeah.
me because I wanted what was best for Bishop, for Fuller. And then I knew that Darlene was believing for someone. And then, just some of the things that you shared about the gentleman that he was and all of that, those were all things that I knew you as a woman of God deserved. So why not? Why couldn't it be Fuller? Why couldn't it be Fuller? Because I knew him, knew the kind of man he was. And, Jean and I had shared so much of that about our husbands and, the things that they did for us and how they blessed us and loved us. So why not be able to transfer that over into someone as awesome as you? But that was something that I had to grow into. I mean that, but you deserve it. You deserve him. You all deserve each other. Don't cry.
Messed
Can I
up.
say
You messed
quick?
up.
I don't want to mess you up, but Minister Rick wants to jump in and say something.
Please,
And
please,
I told him he couldn't because this was girls, but then he's looking at you, Fuller, sitting there, and he's like, I want to say something.
please.
So hold a second. Hold on.
Now, Rick, you got to act like we live on the set. This is live studio.
We ain't doing no
This
commercials.
is TV. This is TV stuff. Rick Hayes can't be talking about it. Just hold on just a second.
You want to say that again,
That was
Darlene?
so precious. That was so precious, Norma.
I can
Really.
speak now.
Both of us got tears in our eyes. That was really precious. But I'm finding out that Jackie Ector, Mac Valerie, I think Maureen Austin, Valerie Jackson, who else? They all told me, BJ's wife, Karen Jackson, they all told me, said, Mama Jean said that anything happened to her, Susie Wicker said anything happened to her, said Kenny got to get married again because he don't do good by himself. He needs somebody to help him. And that's you'll say that's the truth, right?
Yeah, he totally do need somebody.
Special.
So is Mr. Minister Hayes with you now? Oh, did you go put your cowboy shirt on? Is that what you was doing?
Yes, he did.
That's what he had to do. Number 7. He had to let you know, Darlene, first of all, you're supposed to have on a cowboy shirt. Yes, Mr. Minister Hayes.
Well, first of all, hello to everyone.
Yeah.
We can't see you. Okay.
I think it's such an honorable thing that we're taking time to acknowledge Jean and the great person that she was. As Bishop knows, we called her Queen Jean,
right?
And because that's what she was. I heard some of the earlier comments that were made, and I think everybody was dressing her. And I heard the lady talking about how to shop and how to, don't start on the sale rack. And, so that was the queen in her. And
that's right.
When I think of Jean, I just think of, and Bishop, I said this to you so many times. When I said, she was just a loving person, and it was no fake to it.
Yeah.
She was just loving. She had a pure heart of love. And I would tell her that every time I saw her. And Norm and I would come home and talk about it. And so I'm so honored to just be able to just have a small voice and a small say to honor my eternal friend,
yes,
who has got us all beat because she with the Lord.
Yes.
And I'm so grateful that to have known her, and I'm so happy that we've taken this time to acknowledge who she is. And I'm also happy that my brother and my dear friend Bishop is happy as well.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
And I'll just say this. I think Jean was the one that started calling Rick.
Yeah. Rick, Jean.
And now Darlene called me Rick.
I know. that takes a little bit of the handle off me having to say Minister Rick Hayes. I have to do the whole thing. So now I can say Rick.
Rick.
My cowboy buddy.
That's right. That's right.
Awesome.
And
Awesome.
she
So
had,
thank you guys for letting me say something in honor of her. We all love her so much.
she had this nick for naming people because she called her Rick, Keystone, our grandson, Shitty Man,
Right.
Matt Pooty,
Right.
our youngest son, Matt Pooty. Man, she just, and Vera, she called it Very. And oh man, just so many names. My brother Chris, bruh me,
For me.
yeah, bruh me, and just
Yeah.
man, so many.
Yeah. And you know, I'm grateful that the people that are listening today, they don't mind listening to us just chit chat about Queen Jean,
Right.
because that's just who she was.
Right.
And so we're thankful for all of you joining today. We wanted to take the time to just celebrate, and every year we do this. I have a hard time, you know, Fuller. He'll mention to me about, you know, a very special day, and I'm honored always to post about, you know, today being Jean's birthday. I may not always do that regarding David. I don't know why. I just, you know, maybe it's different, and it's going to be different for each of us, right? That have lost a spouse. I don't do what Fuller would do, and Fuller doesn't do what I would do. But I'm grateful at the end of the day that we found love again, and I'm hoping that those that are listening that have lost a spouse, that you will find love again. And I'm praying that it's as great as what Fuller and I call full of love, Fuller, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Or we love. And so, and I can see the love in the Hayes that's in the room. I can see the love from Fee that's on here. And we're grateful that you guys joined us today. We would love to tell you about all things with taking Austin to SCAD. Well, we run out of time, so we can't tell you all about that, but the time was well used for the queen of the hour.
Yeah.
And
Amen.
so,
and you, I thank you for posting about Jean today. She got 520 views on that just posted today. Because she was caring, and she helped a lot of ladies teach them about what it was to be a lady.
Yeah.
She always was. She said, what she had this saying. She said, when I left the projects and lived in the projects, she said I was a lady. I'm still a lady.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She said I left a lady.
Yeah. And so, well, you guys, it is that time and past the time. We thank you for, oh my gosh, it's 6:45.
Well,
thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back on next Monday on GodFidence, and we'll have another interesting topic to talk about. And so, thank you guys for joining. We love you. You got your music.
I'll say this.
Birthday music. Go ahead.
And I'll say this. Love the one you're with. I mean, because you never know. Don't take life for granted. Because if you're in life, I read the scripture earlier, as long as you're in this life, you will have tribulation. But Jesus said, don't be afraid. Be courageous. Don't be undone. So I've overcome the world. Yeah. So remember, he can overcome the world for our sake. So that's why we can.
Come on, Rick, Fifi, Norma. Let's go.
Come on, Fee. Come on, Fee.
Fee got off. Y'all, we see you next week on GodFidence.
Okay. Good night.
Thank you for joining.
Love you. Bye-bye. Good night.